cut off again. I was saying that Superman in Justice League was like a mixed bag of what the heck. So anyway, I'm almost done. So he was disappointing. What was I saying now? Dang, I was saying something about Vision. Oh, I was saying, when after he's done that, the thing was blown up. Thanos didn't get to him, but then Thanos has the time stone. He reverses time, then immediately brings him back, picks him up, pulls the crap out of his head, throws him to the side. Again, I felt bad, like dang. But I think Marvel's attempt was trying to do something harsh, since they're accused of not being, brutal or harsh or dangerous or whatever you want to call it enough when they with their deaths and with the way they do their actions. So it's like that's pretty cold. I mean, Thanos just murdered the dude, like without remorse, without regard, and tossed him aside. Same way he did Loki. So he did that to two characters. One that was definitely beloved, and even Heimdall, was like a cult favorite. And then Vision. I'm sure a lot of people love Vision. So you got three characters got done dirty by Thanos, like F you, So he had to be used in that way. That's what they chose to do. I'm not exactly thrilled by it, but it's okay. I'll get over it. All right. My MVP for this movie, and it's crazy. And again, I can't wait to talk more about this with my daughter and our daddy-daughter review. This guy, I don't make this stuff up on purpose. I sit here and watch each movie, and then I reflect on it. I don't really be thinking about the other ones. I mean, in comparison to ranking, yes, but not in these types of aspects that I'm bringing up now, these breakdowns of topic categories and topics. Yet, for the third time, the MVP of an Avengers movie, for me, I just realized this, it's Thor. He definitely was the MVP of the first one. And I always said that's because he literally fought like everybody in that movie. He had to fight Iron Man. He had to fight Hulk. He had to fight Loki. He kind of had a fight with Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Like when he shows up, it's like he has a presence in that first movie. His first entrance was dope. Just landing on the plane and stuff. So anyway, then in Age of Ultron, he has a more subtle MVP role. But, I used to say, I wonder if I've done a video on this. If I did, I never posted it because I wasn't doing this stuff back in 2015. But the point is, his role in, creating Vision, I thought was dope. Like, the scene where he just busts in out of nowhere, just jumps on top of the little cradle and blasts it with his hammer, and Vision comes up. You know what I mean? Little things like that. And he's always a dude who's down for the fight. When he shows up, he don't be on no losing ends and no fights at all. So he was the MVP of this movie. And again, coming off of Ragnarok, people were critical of the comedy. And again, I wasn't worried about it. What I do love, I wasn't worried about it flowing into this movie because I didn't have a problem with it in Ragnarok. But what I love is like Russo brothers, Kevin Feige, they stick to their guns. They knew what they were doing. Yes, he was probably disappointing to some people in Ragnarok. But watch Thor in Avengers Infinity War. First of all, it seems like to me a natural progression into the next movie. But my point is, for anybody who's worried about, he's a joke now and he's dumb and this and the other, was he? You got a problem with how he was? Shoot, please, holla at me. He still had some of that. To me, he's always had a comedic kind of meatheadish, arrogant jock. He's like a jock type mentality. So yeah, some of the stuff he would say would come across a little meatheady, but so what? It always had. Always. Going back to his first movie, definitely in all of the Avengers movies. Maybe not in Thor: The Dark World. They try to make him a little more deep and introspective, and you know what I mean, like in Thor: The Dark World, I think. But if you go to the first Thor, first Avengers movie, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Thor: Ragnarok, yeah, they just notched it up a little bit in Ragnarok. His meatheadishness, I guess. Anyway, he had probably I meant to say favorite scene. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, this one too. He had one of the dopest dramatic scenes that just really resonated the first time I saw it. Was that scene where him and Rocket are talking, He's going over all the stuff he's lost, and how he's ready to fight and all. I mean, the lines were great. His delivery. Chris Hemsworth is a freaking dope actor. I don't know why it doesn't really translate to other roles he does, but I'm just gonna say he's dope at playing Thor. Period. His comedic, whether you like the comedic version of him or the serious version of him, whatever, I don't care. He's killing in every aspect, just like Chris Evans is as Captain America, just like Tony Stark does as Robert Downey Jr. does as Tony Stark. I think they kill it, whether it's serious, comedic, whatever. Heck, even Anthony Mackie does the same thing. Most of the Scarlett Johansson, their casting's phenomenal. It's like literally perfect. Well, I'm gonna get to this guy in a second. The next guy I'm gonna talk about. But yeah, that scene, and there's a line where he's talking about, he's never, he's basically saying he's gonna take Thanos out. He's gonna have the weapon that's gonna kill him. And like Rocket's like, well, what if that doesn't work? And he sheds that tear. Man, that moment, for me, more than even Spider-Man's death, which, that's a lot of people's moment. That moment for me was hard, man. Because you really felt like, and it perfectly balances everything that happened in Ragnarok for people who thought it wasn't taken seriously enough. It's almost like now he is reflecting on everything that's happened while he tried to be this upbeat, cocky dude throughout that whole, movie. Now it's like hitting him that all these people are dead, and this dude, at this point he saw Hulk get beat down. He doesn't really know what's going on, and he's feeling a little bit of, not going to say self-doubt, but questioning, like what is going to happen here. Like everybody, that was the thing with everybody. Everybody's now thinking, wow, what if we can't do this, sort of thing. And that was the tone of the whole movie, which plays out dope when in the end freaking Thanos wins. And then even in the end, I'm not going to go any further than that. Bottom line is Thor was my MVP of the movie. He he never backed down. As I said before, he had the most, like his scene with the Guardians, like he kind of owned them, in my opinion. I loved how he just came across as just a more powerful being than all of them. Even the way they wrote the lines, I think, helped that, with the way Drax and Gamora were like gushing over him. But he held his own with them. It's just like you just could tell this dude's on another level from them. So I thought that was dope. I was actually surprised to see how big he was in comparison to Dave Bautista. But of course, wrestlers, they always exaggerate their size. So Bautista's probably not 6'5", because I think Hemsworth is 6'3", and I want to say he was the same height or taller. So, yeah, he was the MVP. I mean, he's been like MVP of all the Avengers movies. He's become my second favorite Avenger after the Hulk. Actually, he slightly surpassed Captain America, believe it or not, with the movie Thor Ragnarok. Whereas, not to say Thor Ragnarok was better than Civil War, no, but like his character he resonates with me in a way that, because people have said they kind of finally got him right in Ragnarok. I don't know about that, because I've always liked him in every movie, honestly. Every movie, including his first one. But he just wasn't my favorite. But I'll make a video about my favorite characters in MCU, my favorite Avengers, all that stuff. So the second guy who would be kind of an MVP, I was saying, would be, and I had to go back and forth with this, but I just had to give the edge to Thor. But this dude, did I say he was a surprising character? I should have said that too. Doctor Strange. Well, that's what it was, because Doctor Strange and Wanda, if anything, I was saying to my brother, and who we went to see the movie with, we went in a big group, my girlfriend, her son, my brother, my daughter, my niece. I'm like, man, one thing I will say about this movie is the magic wielders. They made them badass. Like Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, which is still kind of hard to differentiate. I mean, what is the difference in these two abilities? But they haven't really defined Scarlet Witch, what she does, like really definitively. But man, I mean, who would have thought a wizard, magician, sorcerer is the better word, would be badass? And he's only had one movie, so it was almost like what they did with Black Panther and Civil War, even though that was an introduction. Now this is our second seeing of Doctor Strange, but it's like reverse. We were introduced to him in his own movie. Now we're seeing him in a group. Again, I think it's just deliberate. They said, we got to give this dude a push because, he's getting a little lost in the sauce. He's only had one movie. Black Panther had a whole movie to be badass, and he looked badass in Civil War. Doctor Strange, he was badass in this movie, I'll admit, but let's put it in the context of other heroes. See, Black Panther had a chance to do that in amongst other heroes. Man, Doctor Strange, first of all, I think what's hilarious, this dude was owning Stark when it came to like banter and like one-upsmanship on the arrogance. I mean, he was putting that dude in his place constantly, and I thought it was hilarious. Number one. Two, he was so stoic throughout the movie. He wasn't about no jokes. And I love that. You gotta have a dude like that. Like, you know what I mean? He's not a jokey dude. He may have a dry sense of humor. But man, he wasn't playing. I mean, you could tell like his sorcery level must be high at this point in his life, or because he's just up front and center. Definitely a guy you can see being a leader going forward. And again, me being a guy I admit I'm more about guys who can fight and throw action. That's why I like people like Hulk, Wolverine, Captain America, Daredevil is one of my favorite guys. And even Spider-Man. I like, for whatever reason, I've always liked just hand-to-hand combat fight type dudes. I'm not really interested. That's why Iron Man probably never really resonated that much with me, because I know he's got tech, and I like tech weapons, and his suit is dope. Or, even a Batman over Superman. I'd rather see a dude who can fight hand to hand than a guy who can just pick up freaking buildings. That's not all that impressive to me. It sounds backwards, but so for a guy who's not really going to be focused on that, I would have my questions about a Doctor Strange. But man, this movie ended that. Like, I'm a Doctor Strange fan after this movie. And again, perfectly done. When you can make a guy do this to a guy like me, you've done something amazing. Again, that's not what I said I wanted to go to the movie to see, but I'm walking out thinking, dang, now I'm feeling Doctor Strange like fully. I liked his his movie. Was always looking forward to the sequel, but now it's like even more heightened just because of the way Benedict Cumberbatch portrays him. Goes back to their great casting in the way they wrote him. And I just liked the role that he played, and that he was kind of instrumental in protecting the stone, facing off with Thanos, like in verbally and just not showing any intimidation. The things he was doing with his powers, I thought was dope. The thing where he turned it into like some butterflies and it was flying back at Thanos. I mean, it was dope because he's like, he's putting Thanos in a position of like being a little confused and a little flustered. That's genius. I mean, now if you're a comic book reader, and you're super nerdy like that, you already appreciated that. Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. But for a guy like me, again, it makes you realize there's more to it than just being able to punch somebody in the freaking face and whoop their ass physically. Again, the absence of the Hulk. This is where Marvel Studios is genius, in my opinion. Absence of the Hulk in there busting ass. Absence of Drax ever really showing he's a destroyer. There they are. Black Panther not in there doing his battle, in Captain America, all these hand-to-hand combat dudes. They turned everything, so to speak, to Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch using a lot of their mystic, wizardry, magic, whatever abilities. If you watch the movie, again, for them to do that opposed to all of the usual types of fight scenes, Bucky, all these guys are good to hand-to-hand combat or kind of sideline in favor of these mystical characters. Even Mantis, love that. Her ability to like put him into that,